Both parties, or at least leaders of both parties, have agreed to a deal. But the problem of the deficit is far from solved, as is that of the debt. Joining us now is Peter Orszag, once a Washington insider, as a former director of the Office of Management and Budget for President Obama. Still, I guess it would be safe to call you a Washington insider.
I don't know about that.
Currently a vice chairman of global banking at Citigroup. You don't stop becoming friends with everybody you used to work with, right? So you still hear what's going on there. What are you hearing about this debt deal this morning? Are people pleased with it?
Look, I think everyone's relieved that we have a deal, and so we've avoided the worst possible outcomes, assuming, again, it passes. But the big question remains, which is, we've now set up a super committee. What exactly are they going to do? How will this work in practice?
What do you think of that methodology, first of all?
Well, I think it's better than nothing. At least you have some hope of getting something done. And the innovation here is that both sides have this big gun to their heads. They basically said, look, we can't agree, so we're each going to point a gun at our heads, and the outcome will be very bad if we can't reach agreement.
So, Peter, we spoke with two Republican congresspeople, I should say, because one of them was Congresswoman Blackburn, also Ridgel, both saying, okay, wait, we do need to see the numbers from the OMB. We need to see the details before we can tell you how we're going to vote. Do you have any insights into what those particulars might be, since you were the former director?
Well, look, a lot of this always comes down to the details. So it would be good. I mean, right now people are going off of PowerPoint descriptions or, a one-page summary. You need to see the actual language. As an example, there are caps to enforce these discretionary spending reductions. How easy are those to waive? Or even the trigger that I talked about. Both sides are forced to reach a deal on the super committee because of that trigger. Well, can you waive that trigger? Is it a supermajority? How exactly does it work?
So even if everybody has the same numbers, there's still plenty of ways to fight.
You need to actually see what the legislation says and not just go off of PowerPoints. Absolutely.
What do you know? A couple weeks ago, I spoke with you from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and you said you thought we'd see a series of mini deals, and it kind of looks like we've gotten that, right? They haven't got a long-term solution.
That's correct. I mean, this is a two-step. You've got the discretionary spending reductions that are part of the package, and then you've got some process to try to get more than that, which is, I think, what was expected.
Peter, if you had to game what comes next, let's say the vote passes, what happens after that?
Well, what happens after that is we will then shift to a focus on what the next big thing will be who's appointed to this super committee, and then the super committee will start its deliberations. But this is
It'll have more power than the Erskine Bowles
that's
commission.
the key.
We hope, right?
No, without doubt, because that's the key thing, is that if you don't actually pass through Congress, if Congress doesn't approve the recommendations of this committee, automatic reductions go into effect. That would have been very helpful in a Bowles-Simpson kind of setting.
Would it have been great if the president had gone with and backed
I knew Matt was going to go
commission?
there. I knew he was going to go there.
Well, that's
not?
history. Let's look forward. I think the other thing that's going to happen is we still have a very weak economy. I think we're in for a hard slog for the next several years. To the extent that's what happens, the deficit numbers are all actually too optimistic. And in fact, with a hard slog, the 10-year deficit number may be made as much worse off as the deficit reduction we just did.
Did you see Paul Krugman's line there in the op-ed in the Times today saying people think disaster was averted? It wasn't. He's essentially saying the president failed, and with the damaged economy, the worst thing you can do is cut government spending.
He calls it a catastrophe.
Well, yeah, but here's one important feature of the deal as it appears, and again, I want to see the legislative language rather than just, a statement on PowerPoint. But that having been said, it does appear that most of the spending reductions are put off for a period of time, so you're not doing the immediate fiscal austerity. And frankly, out year, so in 2016, 2017, 2018, fiscal consolidation, deficit reduction then, that's good for the economy. That boosts confidence, and that
he says that's a lie, Peter.
No. I think what he is saying is if you reduce the deficit today, this year, that's harmful. Agreed. There is no good argument that reducing the deficit in 2018 or 2019 is harmful today.
Is it a disappointment?
I doubt that he would argue that.
Is it a disappointment that we don't get revenues up? I mean, as a percentage of GDP, we're looking at almost 14%, kind of a record low here.
My own view is we are going to need more revenue over the medium term, 2015 to 2020. This deal doesn't directly address that problem.
Peter, thanks so much for joining us.